Hi everyone, welcome to our evacuation system refresher training, if you like. This is to run really alongside physical training. It's as an aid for you guys to train your staff, show them the equipment. We're going to be running through two pieces of equipment here. We have the Prism Medical evacuation system and the Harvest Healthcare evacuation pads with bag. This is a brand new product. I will be showing you a picture somewhere on the screen shortly of the original version, just so if you've got that version, the way they work is exactly the same, but as you'll see, this one is a lot smaller, a bit more compact than the old one. So I'm just going to take these out of the bag just to show you what they look like. Let's drop that one on the floor. We'll start with the red one. The idea behind these is that the straps in the corner will hang against the wall. If they're hanging up on the wall, maybe in the hallway, in somebody's room, possibly in stairwells, you should really be looking at one on every level in every staircase. Hang them up, undo the Velcro, and they will literally just fall out of the bag onto the floor. And then this particular one just unrolls, ready to put a resident on there. So should there be an emergency, a fire evacuation plan, and you need to get somebody out of the building, the first thing you're going to do is get somebody onto this. We'll show you that in a second. Then we're going to be taking people horizontally. So we're always going to evacuate in a horizontal direction, avoiding staircases. We're going to move to ensure that we're always 2 fire doors away from wherever we think the fire might be. And we'll move in stages. When we eventually get to our final destination at the end of a corridor, there's nowhere else to go horizontally. This will then take the person down the stairs. We don't take them down the stairs unless we absolutely have to. And wherever possible, we always keep people within the building where it's nice and warm. That's not a pun for the fact that there's a fire somewhere, but we're going to keep somebody in the building until the last possible minute. If we lose our 2 fire door safety zone and the only option is a fire escape outside, that's the only point we'll be taking people outside. So don't rush people outside, especially in the middle of winter, having people freezing cold in the car park. So as you'll see from this one, it's a slightly improved design over the one we had previously. Slightly thinner padding to make it smaller and more compact. This one has 3 straps to hold somebody in, and it has 2 straps at the corner, at the top end and at the bottom end for sliding people along the corridor or taking them down the stairs. Again, we'll cover that going down the staircase shortly. At one end, there is a pocket. The pocket is always the foot end. So that's where we're going to put somebody's feet. So if we do have to take them down the stairs, they're not going to slide off. Their feet will be protected in that pocket there. Undo the buckles, fasten somebody in, and again, we'll go through all this with a real person shortly. But I just wanted to show you what each one looks like. If I just fold that for a second and pop it down, I will take the blue one, again, just to show you what it looks like. This one's a bit bigger. The reason it's bigger, it's got thicker padding. It also had bones in the underside of it for spinal protection and spinal support. So if you have any residents that are particularly delicate and fragile, you don't want to cause them injuries by trying to get them out of the building, then this is probably the one to go for. Again, the same loops on the top. You can hang it on the wall. Once you've got it there, undo the Velcro, and again, this one just falls to the floor as soon as it's undone. This one doesn't unroll, it actually folds into 3. And that's because of these bone supports underneath for protection. Exactly the same 3 straps, the same loop options at the head and foot end. And again, the pocket is always the foot end. This one, as you'll see, is slightly shaped, so it's a bit narrower at the foot end than it is at the head end. And again, once somebody's in there, you fasten the straps, you strap them in. Again, we'll run through this very shortly. So I'm going to show you both of these. I'm going to probably use one for rolling somebody on the bed and show you how it fits, and I'll use the other one to take somebody down the stairs, so you can see them both in action. But whichever one you have, they work exactly the same way. So whatever I do with the blue one, you do the same with the red one and vice versa. So I've now asked my colleague John to volunteer to be our resident for the day. When we need to get somebody onto this, we're probably more than likely going to roll them. Now there are different things we can look at. We need to look at moving and handling. All the staff should be trained on moving and handling, and that sits over here. So we can bend a leg, cross arms, make him look this way, do all the things that we're taught in moving and handling and use all those techniques. So it depends where you are in the evacuation process. If you're right at the beginning and you're evacuating the actual fire zone where you think there is a fire, this may become an emergency. You've got to get somebody out of that zone as quickly as possible. So there is another type of moving and handling called emergency handling. That allows us to do those controversial techniques that we're told never to do in moving and handling. Moving and handling we're going to do day in, day out, 5 times, 10 times, 50 times on each resident. And if we do controversial techniques, we're going to cause ourselves or them an injury. As a one-off in an emergency, we can use those controversial techniques. I can drag John up the bed or off the bed if I need to, because it's now an emergency. And that's where we need to differentiate between moving and handling and emergency handling. As soon as that emergency is over, however, don't think that emergency handling technique was great, it was really easy, and carry on using it. You have to instantly stop and go back to your moving and handling training that you've had for your general day-to-day moving and handling. If you're getting somebody prepared at the far end of the corridor, the fire's over there somewhere, and we're 3 or 4 fire doors away, we've probably got an hour, 2 hours of protection from those fire doors. We don't need to use emergency moving and handling techniques. We can go back to our normal handling techniques. We can potentially even use a hoist to get John off the bed, straight down to the floor onto one of the evacuation systems. So just have a think about where you are and how urgently you need to move somebody. So ideally, I would ask John to cross his arms, and I'm going to bend one or both of his legs. So we'll cross both arms onto his chest, onto his tummy, wherever he can get them. Bending one or both knees is the best option if it's possible. If John can do it himself, I'll ask him to do it. If not, I need to do it. So just put my legs down for a second. Now, in moving and handling, we always avoid the back of the knee, and we avoid grabbing the ankle because we see it often. We grab the ankle, we force bend the leg over. We can do that in an emergency. There are better ways to do it. Palm face down, hand underneath the knee, move it back to the thigh, and as we gently lift here, I'm just going to push the bottom of his foot. And I'm going to do the same underneath the first leg. Just to show you, if I try and do it this way, I'm leaning over the first leg, which puts me at more risk. If I do it this way very quickly, and do it that way very quickly, and I can then, in emergency, I can use the knees to turn him over. In moving and handling, it would be hip and shoulder. For me, I'm still going to use hip and shoulder because it doesn't make any difference to the time. You're talking about 1 or 2 seconds. But if you are finding it really difficult, you can bring the knees over. The problem with doing that is it starts to rotate the hips, pelvis, and it does rotate the spine a little bit as well. But you can do it. I know it's controversial, but we can do it. Once he's over, we'll then introduce the equipment. We could potentially use an arm. So if we need to, we could be pulling the arm over whilst pulling the legs over to get him over. Again, controversial, shouldn't really be doing it, but in an emergency, if speed is of the essence, the fire's somewhere very close, we can use these controversial techniques. So when you do your next moving and handling training, it is worth noting what the controversial techniques are, just in case you need to use them in an emergency. Never use them for general moving and handling. So once we've got John on his side, we can then go and get the equipment. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put John on the red one and show you how it all fastens up. I'm then going to put him on the blue one, just to show you the difference in how it's strapped together. Then we're going to take him off the bed, and then I'm going to show you how to take him down the stairs as well. So I'm just going to run through the rolling again once more. We're going to do it from the opposite side this time. So I'm going to be rolling John away from me, and I might want to do this if I'm on my own. So my colleague is on his way to help me evacuate John along the corridor horizontally, or potentially even down the stairs if required. But at the moment I'm on my own, so I've put the bed rails up on that side of the bed. I'm going to use the same technique for bending the knees. So bend that one up, exactly the same technique. So get them into position. We can push the knees if you need to, but actually it's just as easy and probably better for yourself just to lower yourself down and push gently on the hip and the shoulder. So I'm just going to push and roll John away from me, which is why I've got the bed rails up. Again, remember, if you don't have bed rails, you can still do this. It is an emergency. Now, if John is able, he's going to stay on there because of the leg position, but actually we could ask him to hold on to the bottom rail or even the top rail if need be, so that he stays on his side. So, grab the evacuation system, in this case it's the red one, undo and drop it onto the bed, and we're going to unroll this. So we've got the head and foot end. So what I'm going to do is undo the straps quickly, and I'm going to fold this like you would do if you were fitting a sling. I'm just going to fold or roll it slightly lengthways underneath him. Remember, this is an emergency. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just about getting John onto this, and I'm going to put this underneath the pillow. So what I want to do is tuck this down. I'm going to grab John, so if you can let go John for me, I'm going to roll you back towards this and back onto and towards me, at which point I can unfold and get you back onto your back. Again, we can physically move John if required, but if I need to move John across more central, I can literally go under the pillow and slide his shoulders across. Again, remember, these are controversial techniques. We shouldn't be doing these in moving handling. We should be using slide sheets, but this is emergency handling. One which hopefully you won't have to do, but we could potentially go underneath the arch of his back and bring him over, or we can literally just grab the hips and just shuffle just a little bit towards us, and the same again with the feet, and we've got him pretty much in the centre of there. Now we need to strap him in. So the first thing to do, if you can bend your knees, John, just to assist me, we're going to put your feet inside this pocket. That's it, and just straighten your legs out to that. Okay, strap his legs in, pull it tight, and you can see it's curving up on the side. That's going to protect him from hitting doorways, etc. And we've got the straps on this side. What I'm actually going to do, if I had a second pillow, I could actually put it across his tummy. So in this case, I'm just going to take the pillow away from you a second, John, just to show you the option. It will make it much more comfortable. If you can pop your arms down by your side for me. I'm going to put the pillow on top of John there, and I'm going to strap this across the pillow, purely from a comfort point of view. So I can do that quite tight and it's not putting pressure on John. Do the same with this one. And pull it tight. It'll also, if John's got dementia, it'll make him feel a bit more secure in there. We also have the option, which I'm just going to show you just in case. So if John was a lot shorter and this strap was coming towards the neck, what we have the option of doing, just loosen these off, is actually crossing those straps over and fastening them across the body. So I'm going to tighten this one first. Doesn't matter which order you do it in, and tighten that one. So again, once it's crossed here, you can see it acts like a seat belt from both directions. That means it's coming completely away from John's neck. So if John was a lot shorter, the strap could come across. Now it doesn't. So you've got both options. Doesn't matter which one you do, it's perfectly safe both ways. By magic of video, we've now got John on the blue system. Exactly the same way we did before, the same rolling technique, the same folding of the sheet underneath itself, etc. But I just wanted to show you the way that this one fastens together. The clips are obviously slightly different. I'll start at the foot end. I'm going to fasten these ones, but it's a buckle fastening clip, exactly the same as a car seat belt. And we're going to fasten that over, and again you can see how it curves up into a canoe-like shape. Again, John's arms are crossed, ready, because we were rolling him. If you can pop your arms down by your side for me. If not, I'm going to physically do that for him. And again, we can just cross this over and pull it tight. And we can do the same at the top here and pull it tight. But again, if it's going to dig in, if it's going to be uncomfortable, the best option would be loosen those off. If you can lift your head for me, John, I'm going to take the pillow away. Again, in an ideal world, we'd have two pillows. Pop the pillow on top of him. And again, this time I'm going to show you the cross version. But again, exactly the same. I'm going to crisscross these over, fasten and tighten, and the same on that side. I'm going to cross that over, fasten and tighten, and you can see how it's curved up at that side. Same on this side. It's protecting John's arm, hand, legs, shoulders, and John's now ready to be literally dragged off the bed, lifted off the bed potentially, taken along the corridor, and last resort, we will show you very shortly, going down the stairs as well. So as we're lowering the bed, we need it as low as possible to the ground. If you've got an ultra low bed, a low bed, it's even better. This one isn't, it's a standard height bed. So you'll see that's as far as it goes. Now there's two ways to get somebody off the bed. We can slide them off the bed, which I'm going to do second, or we can physically lift them. So I've had a second colleague appear, carer number 2 if you like. Because we're going to lift off the bed, I'm going to bring the head slightly first, so I'm in control of the head. That way, if the feet fall off the bed, they fall and hit the floor, the head doesn't. So that's why we're doing it head first. When we do it the other technique, which we'll show you second, we'll be going feet first from the bed. So we're both going to literally just grab wherever on these handles feels comfortable for us. You can get it really low down, you can get it quite high, depends on how tall you are. So we're just going to slide, basically lift and slide towards the edge of the bed, and I'm going to go first, and then we're going to take and just lower just to the floor. So we're making sure we're not dropping. If we drop the feet, that's fine, but we don't ever drop the head. So the person is always in the charge, the leader is always the one in control of the head end. So we're going to get John back on the bed now, and I'll show you the second technique. So the second technique, this is easier in my opinion, but it depends again on the staff that you've got, on the person that's on the bed. So the idea now with this one, we're going to slide John off the bed. Ian's going to be pulling away from the bed. I'm going to control, and the idea is to slide from the bed to my knee to the floor. My only job is to bring John towards me and control the head, protect the head at all times. So if we start to twist round, and I'm just going to control to make sure we go down the ramp, and as we slide, we're just sliding to the floor, bump, 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 and we're off, straight out the room. So we've now arrived at the staircase, we're ready to go. I'm just checking that the straps, everything's all fastened. John's still comfortable when we're about to go down the stairs. So Ian's going to pull John towards the staircase. As John's body weight, basically his hips and pelvis go over the top of the stairs, he's going to kind of tilt and start going down. At that point, I'm going to be at the head end, and I'm the brake person. So Ian will no longer be doing anything, he won't be pulling. John's body weight will take him down the stairs, and I'm just going to control the speed. Make sure when you're holding the strap, you do not ever wrap around and get a good grip, because if John starts to go too quickly, if I can't control the speed, I need to let go. And if I let go here, my hand's trapped. So make sure you've only got a grip where you can let go. Okay, Ian, if you want to start pulling John towards the staircase, and again, we're not worried about banging John against the side because we know he's protected. You'll see the body weight suddenly shift about now, and now he's going to just go. So I'm going to actually just control the speed and walk down at whatever pace I want. Ian's going to take over now, take John over the next top step, and again, I'm just going to take over now and control the speed going down the stairs. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you found it useful. A couple of things that I really want to point out just before we finish. Firstly, the moving and handling compared with emergency handling. Make sure if you're teaching staff how to use this equipment, they completely understand the difference. Only use emergency handling techniques, controversial techniques, during the emergency. As soon as the emergency is over, they go back to moving and handling as they've been taught in their standard moving and handling training. Finally, a question that we normally get asked, what happens if you lose control on the staircase? If you feel like you're the brake person at the top of the stairs, you can't control somebody on the way down, just let go. Save yourself, because what will happen, the person will go down the staircase slightly quicker, but as soon as they hit the level, the landing or the bottom of the staircase, they will stop instantly. They won't carry on sliding, so they're perfectly safe, they'll just go a bit quicker. But it's safer to do that and then go and fetch them at the bottom, because you can then continue on with the evacuation. If you get pulled down the staircase, there's 2 people now that need evacuating. So thanks for watching, guys. If you need to contact us, the details are following. Either contact us by email or directly by phone. Thank you.